Hello everyone, this video is in continuation to our videos on animal kingdom, where we were discussing animal kingdom and the different phylums under it. We have discussed poriferans, general characteristics and examples. From this video, in this video we'll be starting with coelentrates or cnidarians. We'll be discussing the general characteristics of coelentrates here in this video, and in our next video we'll discuss examples of the coelentrates. Fine. So coelentrata general characteristics. Please watch the video till the end because I'll be jotting down all the general characteristics and their importance on the board, which you can use for your notes. Fine. So we'll start now. Cnidarians or coelentrates, I'll first of all jot down the important pointers. They are marine. That means they are found in sea water. They are generally mostly marine, and they are diploblastic. Diploblastic, that means they have two germ layers. Fine, we'll talk about them. Then they are acoelomates. That means they do not have body cavity, but instead of body cavity, if we see the structure, you'll find that they have a gastrovascular cavity. Rather than, I'm just making a rough one. They have this cavity in them. Suppose this is a hydra. Example of coelentrates, it's hydra. So hydra, it has its tentacles here. So you can see that it has this cavity. This cavity is a gastrovascular cavity, but it's not a coelomic cavity, it's gastrovascular cavity, wherein all the taking up of nutrients, exchange of gases, all these activities are going to take place from here only through the water. Then they are acoelomate and they are holozoic. That means they take in the water, it move. Holozoic is the condition in which the food is taken. We are holozoic. That means we take in food, it's digested in our digestive system. Fine. So they are holozoic organisms. Holozoic, they take in the water moves in, the nutrients are then used up by the body surface. So it's intracellular digestion. So they are holozoic in nature. Then their respiration and excretion, both they occur by the process of diffusion through body surface. Fine. So in respiration, the gaseous exchange, and in excretion, the removal of waste is both of them are done by the body surfaces. Now in excretion, they are ammoniotalic, because they excrete out ammonia. As already discussed during excretion, that ammoniotalic are the organisms which excrete out ammonia, which is the most toxic waste, and they have to be aquatic for it because it requires a lot of water for the excretion of those type of waste. So they are ammoniotalic, they are aquatic also. So they are ammoniotalic in nature. Then their body wall. The body wall of coelentrates. Now when we talk about the body wall of coelentrates, we have already discussed that they are diploblastic. Fine. So they have two layers. The internal one, the inner layer, is known as gastrodermis. This is the inner, and the outer layer is known as epidermis. Epidermis, the outer one. And inside it's filled with a semi-liquid fluid known as mesoglea. This is mesoglea. Now it has a very interesting feature present in it. On its outer surface, it has these structures, these type of cells present, and these cells are known as nidoblast cells. They are known as nidoblasts. Starts from C, C is silent. So it's nidoblast cells. Now when we see the structure of a nidoblast, suppose if I draw a nidoblast here, there it can be drawn in two stages. One is its resting stage, the original stage in which it's present, and the other one is the attacking stage. We'll draw both. So if you see the structure of a nidoblast, I'll draw the attacking phase first so that you come to know कि वो resting stage में कैसे आता है. So it would be, it has this thread-like structure here and a pointed stinging cell present here. So this is the attacking nidoblast. Fine. Wherein from this stage, whenever in the case of any danger, it helps in protection actually. So whenever it senses any danger, it just pushes out the string, it pushes out and it has a sting attached to its top or the tip. So they provide, the nidoblast, they provide protection. But wherein when we talk about its resting stage, all this part, it moves inside. Herein, this will be in the form of a cone-like structure, and this lasso or the string will be coiled around the cone and will have this sting-like structure here. This structure is known as nematocyst. Nematocyst. Fine. So this is a very important characteristic feature of cnidarians, that they have nidoblasts present in them, and these are the two conditions. This is the resting nidoblast and this one is the attacking nidoblast. In resting stage, this cone wherein the string is attached and the nidoblast is present, it's known as nematocyst. So where are these present? Where are the nematocysts present? I'll write it here. Nidoblast. Nidoblasts are protective, or they help in protection and are present on the epidermis and tentacles. Fine. They are present in the epidermis also, and herein when we have seen the tentacles, on these tentacles also these nidoblasts are present, and they are protective in nature, prevents any kind of, it's an attacking structure which is found here. Then after this, the next characteristic, we have discussed that they are marine, diploblastic, acoelomate, holozoic, its respiration, excretion and the body wall. The next characteristic is its body symmetry. These coelentrates, they can be radial and they can be bilateral also. So they can have both type of symmetry. They can be divided into many parts in the radial symmetry and bilateral also. Then the type of nervous system they have. The nervous system is a diffused type. It is diffused throughout the body. Then is the reproduction. Reproduction in case of coelentrates or cnidarians can occur both ways. It can be sexual and asexual. If it's asexual, it takes place in the form of exogenous buds. As you see in Hydra, what happens? An extension or bud, it starts arising here, it falls off and give rise to a new Hydra. So it asexual occurs in the form of formation of exogenous buds. Exogenous buds are the ones which are present outside the body of the organism. Fine. And sexual reproduction is by formation of gametes. Fine. So these are the all the general characteristics of the coelentrates or cnidarians. In our next class, we'll talk about the examples. We'll take the examples. I'll just add in a point here. I'll just add in something. I'll write it here. Here, I guess. Coelentrates, they are colonial and they are known as zooids. In colony, and these zooids can be of two types: polyps and medusa. Polyps are stationary, and example is hydra, whereas medusa, it's free floating, and example is jellyfish. Fine. This is the last characteristic in which we discussed that in colonial form they are known as zooids. Can be in the two forms, polyps and medusa. Polyp is a stationary or sessile stage. Example is hydra, which is attached to its surface. Yes, it shows locomotion, but yes, it's most of the time it's stationary. And medusa, which is a free floating type, example is jellyfish. So in our next video, we'll be talking about hydra and jellyfish, which are the examples of coelentrates. So keep watching, liking, sharing, subscribing. Thank you.